In the UK, we've got some stunning coastline and waterways, particularly where I live down in Cornwall. On a sunny offshore day, you'll be hard pushed to find anywhere more beautiful and pleasant. But when it's raining, and when it's stormy, which is a lot of the time, it's a different story. When it rains in the UK, many of our beaches and waterways are filled with raw sewage. For surfers, and for anyone using the water for that matter, these numbers are more than just statistics. These numbers affect where we can surf on a daily basis and what happens if we do. So what the hell is going on here? How has a country as developed and supposedly as wealthy as the UK got such poor water quality? So to understand what's going on, we need to learn how the UK's sewer system operates. Now, the sewer system in the UK is woefully outdated. In fact, it's around 100 years old, and is designed to carry both rainwater and sewage in a combined system. When heavy rainfall occurs, water and sewage run out into things called storm overflows, which are legally permitted outlets that release all of this rainfall and untreated sewage directly into our waterways and seas. So when and where are these spills actually happening? Well, in short, everywhere. Some of the UK's most popular surf spots are included in this. Porthtowan, just down the coast, is another spot where spills occur really frequently. Porthtowan is actually the same beach where the British Interclubs contest was cancelled back in September due to a sewage spill. And then Godrevy, which is another beach that I can literally see from this window, is another one that frequently suffers sewage overflow. And that's just in Cornwall. When you zoom out across the UK, it gets even worse. Scarborough in Yorkshire is another spot that suffers massively from pollution. And to be honest, there are too many popular surf spots that do suffer from pollution to mention in one video. Now, Surfers Against Sewage estimates these numbers to be much, much higher. You know, these are only the recorded spills. When you start thinking about the more remote beaches, especially up north and in Scotland, it paints a pretty grim picture. But the point is, these incidents are happening all over the UK. So these sewage spills can last from anywhere between a few hours to a few days, depending on the amount of rainfall, that particular sewage system, the tides and ocean conditions. Generally speaking, the longer the rain falls and the more prolonged a certain storm is, the more sewage that runs out. So we're here at one of the most popular beaches in Cornwall. It's called Godrevy, and this is the Red River after pretty heavy rain. You can see it all going out there. So a few miles inland from here, this same river actually goes through a sewage treatment plant, and the water company basically let it overflow into this river. So what you're seeing now is actually filled with sewage and shit, basically. And it rains on, 135 plus days of the year. So yeah, it's a hell of a lot of rain, and this happens basically every time we get like a heavy downpour. You kind of forget about it for a bit, and then when it rains, you're just like, oh, here we go again. So from here you can see the extent to which it comes out. Pretty wild. I mean, this is particularly heavy rainfall, so this is probably as bad as I've ever seen it. And obviously today no one's surfing because it's like 20 foot out here. But yeah, I mean, when the swell subsides in a few days and the rain continues like it's going to do all winter, then this isn't going to go away. This will just continue to happen like this. It's sewage. It's pretty shocking considering we live in the UK and we're supposedly a developed country. You know, it's not good. Need to do something about it. And it's not just surfers that it affects everyone. No matter where you live in the UK, you're never more than 70 miles from the sea. So anyone visiting on holiday or just going down for a swim, learning to surf, the whole population is at risk to this problem. And that's not even mentioning all the rivers and estuaries that are at risk. So campaign groups and regulators have made huge efforts to make water quality information readily available to the public. So I'm just going to pause the video to actually check what it's like right now. I don't know if you guys can see that well on the camera, but yeah, I live down here in the southwest, So yeah, all the red bits are where raw sewage is currently getting pumped out. Granted, we have just had really, really heavy rain, and I don't want to make this video into something where it's like painting this picture of like we're swimming around in crap like every single day, because it's not all the time, but it is a lot more frequently than most of us think. So why is this allowed to happen, and why is it still such a huge problem? Well, put simply, it all comes down to how UK water companies are structured. Now, in the UK, most water companies are privately owned, and these companies pay out huge dividends to their shareholders, while simultaneously making no improvements to their infrastructure, which, as we've already discussed, is a century old.
Water companies, we see them as being run for profit. So they prioritise profit over actually environmental performance and compliance.
Yeah.
There was a change in regulation about 15 years ago to operator self-monitoring, which was literally letting water companies monitor themselves and report that to the regulators, which we think is frankly outrageous and has led to this problem getting worse and worse. Wow. All water companies are relying on the rivers and seas to take sewage that they can't take.
The UK government's Storm Overflows Discharge Reduction Plan aims for long-term improvement, but these targets extend to 2050, by which time I'll be almost 60 years old. So the fact that I could still be surfing in that same poor water quality in another one of my lifetimes is insane. Now, water companies have pledged billions to improve storm overflows and install thousands of monitors, with work planned to modernise sewers and reduce rainwater reaching overflow sites. Pressure from environmental agencies, NGOs and MPs is intensifying. Regulators and campaigners demand tougher enforcement, faster timelines and real penalties for poor performance. Yet, despite all the increased scrutiny, sewage is still pouring out around the UK. The immediate thing you can do to keep yourself safe and your loved ones safe while surfing is obviously check the SAS app, and then you can see where's safe to surf and where's not. You can demand faster timelines, tougher enforcement, public transparency, and real investment in infrastructure.
We're trying to get the government to make change, and they've committed to make change. They've put out this big vision and strategy for how they're going to do it, but frankly, we don't think it's good enough. They're not tackling the heart of the problem, which is not ending the profit coming out of the system. Write to your MP, tell them what you think about the problem, and just show them the fact that you think it's a real issue for you.
So what actually are the risks? Now, obviously, raw sewage contains things that are not great for the human body.
I'm sure lots of surfers across the UK know, like gastroenteritis, anything that's really awful, to be honest, that comes from sewage. What people often don't know is that it really spreads antimicrobial resistance. We've seen a 3 times increase in antimicrobial resistant bacteria in swimmers' guts. So people who are exposed to the water have a way higher likelihood of becoming resistant to antibiotics. Yeah. But it's not just that, they're spreading that within the community, right? Once you've bred that within your gut, you're spreading that across the UK.
So yeah, that's a lot, you know, when this happens, it's just a shit show all round. So yeah, I hope this video has shed some light onto how bad this situation actually is. Like I said, it's not like every beach in the UK is polluted every single day, but researching for this video, I was shocked at how frequently beaches are polluted and how much of a problem this actually is. So something major needs to be done to stop this happening for not just myself, but for future generations who are going to be surfing in these waters, for the thousands of tourists that come down every single year, just for everyone in the UK. And I hope this video raises a little bit of awareness, and I hope it kickstarts that process, if only in a small way, towards having some cleaner water. Thanks to SAS for helping to make this video. All the sources and information I've used to make it, you can see down in the description if you want further reading and see where I've got this information from. Otherwise, it's goodbye from me, and I'll see you in the next episode.